good morning, everybody. Aaron Hendon with Christine and Company, and I got a little crazy hair today. I'm glad I have any hair. All right. This is part two of Is the Seattle real estate market in a bubble? Some of the data. So this is long. It's like 11 minutes. I ramble. That's how it is. But I go through some of the data that I think is important to notice and look at regarding answering the question appropriately. Is Seattle in a bubble? All right. Now, the caveat that I had last time goes for now. Nobody knows. All right. If you're looking for the answer, I'm not the guy. All right. I don't think there is the answer out there. And I think it's a mistake to think that there is one. I know everyone wants confidence, but confidence is absurd. All right. The only thing to be confident in is that you don't know and that you're going to make the best decision possible with all the available data now. Predicting the future is ridiculous. Doesn't happen. Okay. Can't do it. But you can look at what's happening right now and make the best choice for right now. So, given that, here's the answer, or here's what I've come up with in terms of the data for is Seattle in a bubble. Okie dokie, some numbers regarding whether or not we're in a bubble. All right, so there's some things about Seattle that I think there's just a couple of numbers worth really exploring about whether or not this is a bubble. So, couple things. One is compared to the last bubble, if you want to go back 10 years or so and just look to see where were we sentiment-wise, where were we debt-to-income-wise, where were we just generally as an economy to see if there's any signs of a bubble popping. Couple things. One is if you when you looked at the home buying industry indexes, in 2006, you were seeing a massive number of people that were revising their expectations lower. So in 2006, there were 48 people, 48 of the indexes were revising their estimates to be higher, and 138 were estimating them to be lower. That was a change from the previous year, from 28 going higher to 27. So it was pretty mixed. The year prior, sentiment changed over over that 6 months from 2006 to 2007. You saw a massive switch in the sentiment in the home buying industry. Today, when you look at those same indexes, where are their revisions at? You've got 80 projecting revising upward and 36 projecting revising downward. So overall, when you're looking at what does the industry expect, they're expecting it to increase, where there was a real change in sentiment before the pop last time. So that's one thing. If you're just going to look at industry experts and see what they have to say about things, you can take that with a grain of salt. In terms of debt, consumer debt, debt to income ratio, you can see this is a little chart from the federal housing household debt service payment as a percent of disposable income. In 2008, you were up at 13%, obviously a precipitous drop after the crash, and it's pretty much leveled off. So we're at 10% now. So there's no indications from personal debt to say, oh yeah, we're approaching a problem, although it is beginning to increase. And I think it's there's indications that is going up from other charts with other graphs and other sources. However, I don't think that's the issue here. I don't think you can, my point is, I don't think you can go to the past and find information that says, yep, the bubble's about to pop here. I think it's much more fundamental than that. And I think what you want to be looking at is some simple numbers here. So in Seattle, one of the things that people keep freaking out about is how the median price over the last 5 years has gone from around $535K to $730K, right? The median price in Seattle has jumped quite a bit. Now, what's the source of that happening? How did that happen, and is that sustainable? Well, a couple of things, okay, that can really point to why that's happening. So if you look at what's projected for the city, there's a massive influx of jobs. So what's interesting is that the average um, median income in Seattle was around 80K, which when you work that out in terms of disposable income, right, 80K equals somewhere around $3,000 a month for housing. Okay, a $500,000 loan at 4.5%, 4.25%, excuse me, equals about $2,500, roughly $2,500 a month. So as long as the median income stayed around 80,000, the median housing price could stay around 500,000. All right, what's happened over the last couple of years is the average software engineer in Seattle, median salary is 109,000, 109.5. And, well, so that's 109.5, which translates to about $4,000 in available housing. So that's 45%. That's how that's figured, right? 45% of that gives you about $4,000. So $700,000 loan at 4.25 equals $3,400. All right, good. So you can begin to see that as the median income in Seattle moves up over $100,000, it can afford a $700,000 house. So what's actually happening with the $109,000 salary people? Well, you can see that the statistics according to the state, where are my statistics? Right here, okay, that in January of this year, the Washington Employment Security Department expects 4,600 jobs to be added this year. Jobs added in 2017, right, that make $109,000. 4,600 of these jobs added. And only 500 of those are coming from in-state. Those are in-state. Those are people already here. So that means we got 4,100 people this year moving to Seattle, right, with that income. And where are those people going to live? Well, that's the issue, isn't it now? So that's a big deal. Now, that's expected to grow to 4,700 next year. Whoops, that's not an equal sign. That should be. It's going to go up to 4,700 people, not 47,000. 4,700 people next year. That's 2018. That's the projection. All right? Well, as long as those 4,700 people need places to live, we're going to see an increase in demand, which will naturally drive prices higher toward what they can afford. Those 4,100 people can afford median prices around $700,000. Now, if there's a two-income family, there you got your $1.4 million houses, right? So it really does, it's not unexplainable. You understand? It's not like, well, there's just a bubble going on. No, we are adding high-paying jobs in the city, jobs that can afford this. And if you look around at the cities around us, right, even at the $700K price point, with an $80,000, right, you're still only looking at a 50% debt to income. Okay, 50%. That's Seattle. Portland is 38.5 average debt to income, but Vancouver is 79% debt to income. San Jose, 57% debt to income. Los Angeles is 90% debt to income. Relative to their median salaries. So San Francisco is 69% debt to income relative to their median salary. So Seattle is relatively affordable, not compared to Portland, but compared to the other major tech hubs and other, other major cities. We remain affordable relatively. Okay, so you're not looking at a bubble from that perspective. You're looking at a supply-demand issue. All right, and as the demand keeps building, we're going to have to deal with the supply. So, the average number of months, the absorption rate in Seattle has been under 1 month for about 3 years, okay, since this whole thing really got rolling here. So a balanced market is 5 months of available inventory, more or less. Okay, that's a balanced market. We see a super strong seller's market, which also means that given there's so little supply, that people in houses are not moving because you see them remodeling. They're saving the 9% it would cost to sell the sale price. Excuse me, the expense to sell is being saved, so they're remodeling, which further decreases the supply. Okay, so the bottom line is, as long as we keep adding high-paying jobs, we're not looking at a bubble. We're looking at a natural function, a natural outcome of supply and demand. Now, is that going to pop? Is that going to end? I don't know. You know, Amazon really did just say they're looking for a second headquarters, and they're saying they're going to keep, you know, the headquarters here and look for a second headquarters. But, you know, is Jeff Bezos the next Clay Bennett? Is he ready? You know, if someone offers him no tax and blah, blah, blah for another city over the next 5 years, is that going to disappear here? We don't know. In other words, guys, there's always some kind of black swan. There's always some event that could trigger a massive decrease. If you look up anything on the internet regarding housing bubbles or housing cycles, it's all retroactively fitted to explain what happened after the fact. Right now, you're seeing an increase in high-paying jobs. You're seeing us as a second Silicon Valley, Amazon, Facebook, Google, you know, influx of new money, high-paying jobs, decreased supply, increasing demand. That's not the making of a bubble per se. That's the making of the natural outcome of supply and demand. If the demand goes away, we might wind up with excess supply. That could shift. But you need to know that while you are in fact buying at the top of the market, if you're buying, or you're selling at the top of the market right now, there is no way of knowing if that's going to continue or not. There's just no good way of knowing. I don't see any indications of it being a bubble, right? But you never, you know, one doesn't always. So that's the source of this is an increase in supply and demand, not some cheap money or something like that. As long as the demand keeps up, prices will continue to go up. How long is this demand going to keep up? Can't tell you that. Okay, so I hope that helps. I hope that's useful. Those are some numbers that I found fascinating about this whole thing. If you have questions, you need anything regarding your home's value, let me know. Let me know how I can help. Thanks. If you have questions or you want to know more about this or you want a different analysis or anything else, let me know. These last two, the first one and this one, were based on questions I received, and those guys are getting $25 Amazon cards. I always give out $25 Amazon cards for anybody who comes up with a question I answered in one of those videos. So thanks for coming by the vlog. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.